हाय, गुड इवनिंग। सो आई बिलीव हम में से बहुत सारे लोग पहले दुबई की प्रोजेक्ट्स की ट्रेनिंग्स हमने अटेंड करी हुई हैं। सो लेट मी टेल यू कि वाई वी हैव चूज थाईलैंड नाउ। बिकॉज जो भी बहुत सारे कस्टमर्स हम ऑलरेडी हैंडल कर रहे हैं फॉर द दुबई लोकेशंस, जो एक मिनिमम टिकट साइज का एक चैलेंज है आज की डेट में आ रहा है हमें, दैट इज फॉर द एंट्री टिकट साइज। एक बैरियर आ रहा है कि एक मिनिमम टिकट साइज जो दुबई में आज की डेट में एंट्री है, दैट इज क्लोज टू 1.5 करोड़ और क्लोज टू 2 करोड़ नाउ। तो अगर दुबई लोकेशंस पे बेसिकली बात करी जाए, जो भी आपका शेखजाद रोड या अल खैल रोड के आसपास की जितनी भी डेवलपमेंट्स हैं नियर बाई जुमेरा एंड एवरीथिंग, सो वो 2 करोड़ के आसपास पे स्टार्टिंग हो रही है। राइट, तो हमारे पास बहुत सारे ऐसे कस्टमर्स आ रहे हैं जो कि कम, मतलब दे वांट टू इन्वेस्ट इन आउटसाइड इंडिया, बट दे डोंट हैव दैट अमाउंट कि वो 2 करोड़ रुपए या 2.25 करोड़ रुपए लगाकर वहां पर स्टार्ट कर पाए। सो ऐसी कई सारी इंक्वायरीज थी हमारे पास जो 1 करोड़ रुपए या 70 लाख रुपए या 1.25 करोड़ रुपए लगाना चाहते थे, बट आउटसाइड इंडिया, और वहां पर कुछ एडजस्टमेंट की भी डिस्कशंस हो रहे थे। सो दैट्स व्हाई वी हैव एक्सप्लोर्ड थाईलैंड नाउ। थाईलैंड के साथ बेस्ट पार्ट है कि थाईलैंड इज अ काइंड ऑफ कंट्री जहां पर कि जो आरओआई है, दैट इज वेरी गुड। जो रेंटल आरओआई है वो बहुत अच्छी है। जो रियल एस्टेट मार्केट है, बिकॉज बहुत सारा ट्रैवल है इंडिया से थाईलैंड की तरफ। तो आप आई मस्ट से कि जो भी इंडियंस की तरफ से जो भी लोग आउटसाइड इंडिया ट्रैवल के लिए जा रहे हैं या वेकेशन के लिए जाते हैं, थाईलैंड हर कोई विजिट कर रहा है। राइट, तो इन बिहाइंड दिस लॉजिक बहुत सारा इन्वेस्टमेंट वहां की तरफ भी रोटेशन हो रहा है, इंस्टेड ऑफ हम एज एन इंडियंस, हमारा मेजरली रोटेशन जो है वो दुबई और नियर बाई एरिया लाइक इंडोनेशिया, दुबई, सिंगापुर, यूएसए, इधर की तरफ हम मेजरली इन्वेस्टमेंट्स कर रहे हैं। बट नाउ थाईलैंड की तरफ लोगों का अच्छा रुझान बढ़ रहा है, और बिकॉज ऑफ द रेंटल पर्पस। So we have connected with Remax Thailand. So Remax Thailand say Ashley is connecting us, and he is going to brief about the Remax Thailand real estate market, and as well as there's one product of Patya, right? Yes, Ashley is with us now. So Ashley, thanks for joining us. Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. So I request everyone, please welcome Ashley. He is from Remax Thailand. And please switch on the videos, please. So I believe we can interact better.
Welcome, Ashley.
Good
Thank
evening,
you.
Ashley.
Over to you.
Hi guys.
Hi,
Hello.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Welcome.
Namaskar. Thank you. Thank
Ashley,
you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Amit, can you allow me to share my screen?
Yeah, just a moment.
Okay.
Yes, you are co-host now. You can share.
Okay. Okay. Can you all see my screen now?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. Let's go back to Zoom.
Yes.
Can you all see it now?
No.
Can see you.
We can see you,
we
but
can
not
see
the
Ashley, but we
screen.
cannot able to see the screen.
Okay. And now, can you all see the screen?
Yes,
Yes.
we can see
Yes,
the screen.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. So let's okay. So let's start with what you all can expect from this training. I want to start by giving you all, so this is the entire scope of what we will go through today. We'll start with a Thailand overview. We'll then go into a real estate, what the real estate market is like in Thailand, the legal framework and regulations, investment opportunities, and actually I've got 3 case studies. And finally, the future outlook in terms of predictions and strategic recommendations for the future of Thailand's real estate market. So within 50 minutes, that's what Amit has given me. I hope to cover all these topics. All right, so I'll try to be brief. At the end of it, we'll have a 10-minute question answer session. Okay. But yes, so 50 minutes is what we have to go through this. Let's begin right away.
So we keep asking our questions during the presentation.
Well, actually, how do you want to do that, Amit? What do you think?
So I believe we can, if we have any question, we can park this and we'll discuss in the end. So we can note down all the questions we have.
Okay.
I think that might be better because then it will probably overshoot 1 hour, which is what we are targeting. All right, so let's start with geography and demographics. A few key facts about Thailand. So Thailand is a very small country that's located that is surrounded by Indochina countries like Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, and Myanmar, Malaysia. So Thailand is basically right at the heart of these 5 countries. It's a small country. If you add the states of Maharashtra and Gujarat together, that's the size of Thailand. It's got the population is about 70 million, and that's declining. It's just like Japan in those terms. The population is also an aging one, just like Japan. And Japan is actually the country upon which Thai people have modeled themselves. The capital of Thailand is Bangkok. Bangkok is located. I'm sure many of you all have already been here, but for those who haven't, Bangkok is the capital, the political capital, economic, socio, cultural capital of Thailand. And, basically it's a city in terms of million, it is about 12 million inhabitants. 12 million. Yes, Vijay. Okay,
Actually,
Vijay, can you mute yourself, please? Thank you. In terms of ethnic groups, basically Thailand comes from the Thai tribe, which is descendants from the same group of people who you have in the northeast of India, Nagaland, Manipur, Assam, etc., who came down from China generations ago. You have some hill tribe groups up in the north. The language that the people speak throughout the country is Thai. And in the north, it's a different dialect. In the south, it's a different dialect. 95% of Thai people are actually Buddhist. That's the main religion here. And the balance 5% would be Muslim, Christian, and maybe even a small percentage of Jains and Hindus. Okay. In terms of economy, actually, Thailand was the biggest economy in Southeast Asia. It is now the second biggest economy after Vietnam. So Thailand in recent, let's say in the last 10 years, has gone through some major political upheavals. We've had a military government since 2014, right up until last year. We now have a civilian government, and this has resulted in tourism really taking off. Prior to COVID, the number of arrivals into Thailand was 40 million tourists a year. Last year, this figure went back up to 27 million. It's not quite at 40 million yet, but these 27 million are spending a lot more money than the 40 million of the past. So it looks like COVID has also given Thailand a chance to reset itself and to attract a better quality of tourists than in the past. The markets too have changed. Whereas in the past, you had almost 33% of the market coming from China. China has now gone back to 5 million tourists a year, which is less than 20% of Thailand's total mix. In terms of GDP contribution, a lot of people ask me, my own background is also tourism. I started from the tourism industry here in Thailand about 30 years ago. So a lot of people ask me, is there any other industry in Thailand or business that contributes to the economy besides tourism? So many people are shocked to know that actually only 15 to 20% of Thailand's gross domestic product comes from tourism. So you may ask, what is the balance? Where is the balance coming from? Well, 40% is agricultural. The balance, so you have 40 plus 20, that's 60. The balance 40% is actually from manufacturing. And what does Thailand manufacture? It manufactures, it's now the hub of the EV industry. It's the largest EV hub outside of China. Many of these EV producers are actually Chinese because they are already anticipating a ban on their cars by the West. So in order to have a wire production facility as well as a marketing facility, all the big Chinese EV manufacturers are on the eastern seaboard of Thailand between Bangkok and Rayong, including close to Pattaya. Okay, so EVs is one of the big manufacturing units. The other is electronic components. So a lot of Indian companies also collaborate with Thailand on the production of electronic components for computers, etc., etc. Thailand also used to be the production of the largest computer drives in the world, but now that that industry is kind of disappearing, Thailand is also phasing it out. So Thailand is basically really, really strong when it comes to tourism. Bangkok is among the 10 top tourist destinations in the world. It keeps going from strength to strength in tourism. And I see that with this present government, it's going to get a lot stronger in the years to come. This brings us to the real estate market. So now the market size and market trends, I think that, Bangkok is in the past, any real estate, Bangkok has the highest number of real estate transactions in the country. And this was predominantly in the condo market. So at the moment, you have a lot of overcapacity in the Bangkok condo market. And the last few years, because we've had a military government, they have not been able to really stimulate the economy. And along with the country being closed, Thai people do not have much money in their pockets. So, consumer debt is almost at 80% in this country. The situation with the Thai people is not great. But as a result, we are very sensitive to what happens in the region. And the same way, the Chinese have been kind of breaking down the gates of Singapore in order to get in. As a result of the domestic policies of President Xi in China, a lot of Chinese, let's say the rich Chinese, have kind of set up home in Singapore. The middle class and upper middle class Chinese are setting up homes in Bangkok. So what is happening is the Chinese are basically buying into the real estate in Bangkok. A lot of condominiums in Bangkok are completely, it's like there's a certain part of Bangkok called Ratchada Pisek Hoi Kwang. And this area has become really, really Chinese. You have, restaurants which are Chinese, shops which are Chinese, entire condominiums full of Chinese. I believe that they even started using their own currency, RMB, until the Thai government heard about it and put a stop to it right away to do business, to buy food, etc. in that area. So I think that China has been one of the drivers of Bangkok condominiums in the last few years. Today, what has become really fashionable is the high-end condos. So people are actually looking at, buying a condominium where the price is somewhere between 300,000 and 400,000 Thai baht, multiply by 2.4 to get Indian rupees. That's per square meter. So that's not cheap. You can say that the rates in Bangkok compare with the rates that are prevalent at Nepean Sea Road, Warden Road, Malabar Hill in Mumbai. I'm not even going into places like Andheri or Borivali, etc. But so Bangkok's upmarket condominiums, of course, the quality is totally different. So you pay these prices and you get the equivalent of 5-star hotels. Now, what are the kind of what are the kinds of properties that are available in Thailand? So broadly speaking, there's condominiums, there are townhouses, or shop houses, as we call them here. These are normally commercial, where you have the business on the ground floor or a shop on the ground floor, and the business owners or their staff living upstairs, and that can be on 3-4 levels. So that's the most common form of commercial property. Then you have industrial properties like warehouses and office parks, etc., which are normally outside the cities. And finally, hospitality assets. So this is the main business of what our Remax brokerage does in Thailand. We are located in Bangkok, but actually we sell hotels and hospitality assets around Thailand in all the tourist destinations, Bangkok, Pattaya, Phuket, Koh Samui, Krabi, even places like Hua Hin or Chiang Mai. So hospitality assets, the transaction values of this can be about, it averages about 12 billion baht a year, which is about, let me see, about $4 billion a year. I know that's not very large, but since I explained to you that Thailand is the size of Maharashtra and Gujarat put together, if you think that $4 billion of assets, hospitality assets, changes hands every year, that's a fairly large ticket size, but it's certainly got room to grow. All right, so let's talk about legal framework and regulations. Okay, so in legal framework and regulations, the most common properties that foreigners like to invest in are condominiums. Let me explain. Does everyone understand what a condominium is? I think in India, you'll call it flats.
Yes, it's called apartment and flats.
Yeah. So we call it condominiums here, simply because, when I first came here 30 years ago, I was given an apartment to stay in. Now, when you say apartment in India, that sounds very fancy, and it should be fancy. But in Thailand, what an apartment basically means is it's one room. There is no kitchen. There is a bathroom. And yeah, it's furnished. You have a bed, there's a wardrobe, and there is a balcony. So that's what an apartment is. If you want to spend more money, so clearly my employers did not think that they needed to give me more than an apartment 30 years ago. If you spend more money, you'll get what they call a mansion. And a mansion is not a large house as we are accustomed to thinking in other parts of the world. A mansion is basically a taller apartment, and the rent is twice what an apartment costs you. So an apartment can cost you as little as 3,000 baht a month. That's say 10,000 rupees a month. Okay, and it could go up to 5,000. A mansion will cost you maybe 10,000 baht a month, going up to 15,000. And a mansion may have something like 400 rooms. So it's like a hotel, except that the rooms are rented out on a monthly basis rather than a daily basis. And finally, you have condominiums. So condominiums are like our flats in India. They have, it starts from studios and you can go up to 3-4 bedrooms. You have a lot of common facilities, and these are really nice, from a swimming pool, a fitness center. There are some condominiums which have things like onsens and saunas and steam rooms. One of the projects we'll talk about today has a bowling alley. It also has, a private theater in the condo for a group of 15, with luxury seating, etc. So now coming to these condominiums, the rule in Thailand says that a foreigner, or rather you have a foreign quota and you have a Thai quota. So the foreign quota is up to 49% of the square meterage of the built up area. So 49% of that square meterage can be owned by foreigners directly in their own names. So let's say, I want to buy a condo as a foreigner in Thailand. I can own it in the name of Ashley Montero. If you're a Thai, you can buy 51% of the square meterage in that condo. However, you don't have to be Thai to buy that 51%. You can also be a Thai juristic entity like a company. And unlike India, where the government says if you're not Indian, you cannot be a shareholder of a company that owns real estate. In Thailand, the government does not care about who owns it as long as 51% of that Thai entity is in name or in nominee controlled by Thai. So the reality is that a lot of foreigners buy in Thai quota because the prices in Thai quota are actually cheaper. And if the purpose is rental, then you're buying cheaper and therefore your ROI tends to be higher. So these are the rules for foreigners and locals, broadly speaking. The main regulatory body across Thailand is the land offices in each province. So, Thailand is made up of 76. These two states that are the size of Gujarat and Maharashtra, which is the country of Thailand, is actually subdivided into 76 provinces. For example, Pattaya is not a province in itself. It's part of a larger province. It's a special administrative unit in a province called Chonburi. Bangkok is Bangkok. It is a province by itself. But you take, for example, Phuket. Yes, Phuket is a province by itself. But Koh Samui, the island, comes under the province of Surat Thani. Okay, so this is how, and you have land offices in each province which control the real estate sales for those provinces. Okay. So basically, you have the laws across Thailand. The land code is standard across Thailand, but you have some regional variations. So, for example, let's say if you buy in Bangkok, you may be allowed a lot more FAR than if you buy in a province like Chonburi, Pattaya. So the FAR in Bangkok, for example, maybe 1:4. Okay, but in Pattaya, it may be 1:10. As a result, the square meters that you can build on a plot of land, whether it is low rise or high rise, varies from province to province. But this is covered by the land code that covers Thailand. The Condominium Act is pretty standard. It basically governs how condominiums should be run. That we call it cooperative housing society in India. Over here, you call it the juristic person or the juristic, simply put. And how the juristics need to function, there is a code that governs them. So, for example, you buy a condo and you don't pay the maintenance or the common fees. Over here, the juristic is allowed, if you do not pay for a certain period of time, to actually send you notice and to sell, to auction your condo. So in other words, you may be in India, you bought the condo, you've forgotten about it. 5 years later, you come back to find that your condo has been sold because you did not pay the fees, the society maintenance fees, and the courts have basically pushed it through. So that's one thing about Thailand. The justice system over here is very effective, very swift, and the courts are efficient. I'm not saying that they are fair. I'm just saying that they are efficient. So whether the judgment is right or wrong, it is fast. Right or wrong is not the question. The judgment is fast and life moves on. So you can move on with your life and know that, look, you've lost, time to move on, or the court has taken your side, and you can actually benefit from their judgment. Okay, so now what are the current trends in Thailand in terms of opportunities. Let's talk about what we've been seeing here in the last 2 years. So as a result of the war in Russia and Ukraine, a lot of young people have actually moved to Thailand. The rich young people have moved to Phuket, where they are buying pool villas and settling down there, putting their children in international schools in Phuket. In Pattaya, the middle class Russians are also moving here. One of the fears is that they will be drafted to fight a war that they do not believe in the Ukraine. To escape that, they have been moving to Thailand, and the Thai authorities have made it quite easy for them to settle down here. So the result has been that real estate in the last 2 years has really been very brisk in Pattaya, in certain parts of Pattaya, which is popular with Russians. And Phuket, especially in the Kamala area, where you have a lot of pool villas, there are a lot of new housing developments that have come up to cater to the Russians. And where you find Russians, the Ukrainians won't stay. So there are another set of housing developments that have come up, which are catering to the Ukrainians. China has always been a big market for Thailand, and it's become more so with President Xi, trying to take away from the rich and giving to the poor in China. So the exercise of communism has not worked with the Chinese, and many of them are moving to Thailand. India is a bit of a dark horse in the sense it's not like Dubai, where you see, Indians are clearly rushing to invest. I will say that Thailand is a bit of a well-kept secret, where I'm actually quite surprised at the number of Indian investors I come across. I never knew there were so many. And if you see, all these people are usually very well informed individuals, HNIs. They're well informed businessmen, where they know that, look, you may not get the best returns in Thailand, but if there is one thing that the Thai baht has been good at all these years, it is being a third world. I see Thailand's not a third world country, but it's certainly not a hard currency. It's not known as a hard currency, but the way the currency behaves is like a hard currency. What I mean is, if let's say I transferred money to India 10 years ago, okay, let's say I transferred 1 lakh dollars to India 10 years ago. Today, the value of that 1 lakh dollars, while the same in rupees, has actually been a negative investment for anyone who's transferred money into India, correct? I mean, the Indian rupee has depreciated from being in the 70 rupees to the dollar range to now 83 rupees to the dollar, correct?
Right.
Right? Now, such a thing has not happened with the Thai baht. If you transferred your money into Thailand from, say, India 10 years ago, the same 1 lakh dollars, all right, it would have been worth 3.5 million baht. Okay? Today, that money would still be worth 3.5 million baht, and it would still be worth 1 lakh dollars. Yeah, it may be $98,000 or it may be $102,000, but the principle is intact. So as a result, a lot of Indians are attracted by the fact that, one, they can keep their money out of India, and two, the money is quite stable in US dollar or in euro terms or in pound terms. Actually, the pound has not been as stable as the Thai baht. It's been very high, and now it's low, and now it's kind of a little stronger again, but it's not behaving as a hard currency should. So these are some of the current trends we are seeing. Another trend, like I pointed out right at the beginning of this presentation, is that the upmarket residential condominiums in Bangkok are basically very much in demand. And if there are certain parts of Bangkok which are beginning to look a lot like the West, be it Paris, be it New York, be it London. And there are certain parts of Bangkok, like let's say Thonglo, which look like Tokyo now. I'm not saying that this is uniform throughout the city. So, you know, if you go into Thonglo, you're going to find a lot of Japanese restaurants. And yesterday I was talking with a hotel owner who told me that Japanese food is now more expensive in Bangkok than it is in Tokyo, simply because the yen has appreciated. But he also said something else, which is that the quality of the food, Japanese food here, is better than Tokyo. And I think he knows what he's talking about, because he is actually the owner of the Courtyard Marriott in Soy Sukhumvit 20. So he's quite aware of what's happening in his space. Now, let's talk about the high spots. You know, when we talk about bringing Indians to invest in Thailand, which are the places we are talking about investing in? So the number one destination I think we should start with is Pattaya, simply because it is very, very affordable. And also, Pattaya is where a lot of Indians like to invest. It's not like we are pushing them there, but you know, a lot of, if I look at the tourism market, which is normally a mirror for the real estate market, today the number one destination for Indians in Thailand is Pattaya. The number two destination for Indians is Bangkok, and number three is Phuket. Why is Phuket number three? Because it is the most expensive. If I were to describe this in terms of what it would cost you to buy a bottle of beer, Singa, which is the most popular Thai beer, you'd pay 80 baht, maybe 70 baht for it in Pattaya. For that same beer, you would pay 120 in Bangkok. And in Phuket, you would pay 200 baht. Without any corresponding increase in value. I mean, look, it's the same beer. So if you can relate the cost of that beer, 80 baht, 120 baht, and 200 baht, to the rest of the cost of living in Thailand, which is quite similar. You know, everything is more expensive in Bangkok because it's a capital city. And it is outrageously expensive in Phuket, simply because it's a tourist destination. And the people there, number one, it's an island. Number two, the suppliers and the locals there think that the tourists should pay. It's like, my hometown in India is Goa. And whenever I go back to Goa, my friends are always complaining about the cost of fish. And they tell me that with all these tourists there, even they cannot buy fish at the correct price, It's just so expensive. So it's the same in Thailand. So if you're really rich, Mukesh Ambani owns a place at the Amanpuri in Phuket. And yeah, I mean, how does the cost of living affect someone like him? And if you think that the other people who own houses in that same complex are also multi-billionaires, it's a different sort of destination. Phuket, in terms of the kind of accommodations that you can find there, it goes from condominiums like you have in Pattaya, but who would go to Phuket to buy condominiums? You'd like to buy a high-end house, which starts at about maybe $1 million. That's the lowest. And then you have houses which go to $40 million, $50 million. This is par for the course. There are certain areas of Phuket where the houses, it's like Malibu. The houses in that area are all in the billion baht range. And your neighbors are basically very low profile, very secretive people. Right? What are the considerations for investors? What are the risks of investing in Thailand? I think that as a destination, Thailand is probably the safest destination in all of Southeast Asia. I know you're surprised to hear that. You're probably thinking Singapore is number one when it comes to safety. But if you think about it, the Singapore government changes the rules at the drop of a hat. So, for example, if you were to buy a $1 million condo, million Sing dollar condo today, the tax on that is 60%. So you're going to be paying $600,000 to the government as taxes just because you're a foreigner. And when you're selling that condo, the government may have decided that, oh, we need to stimulate, demand now. People are not interested in buying condos in Singapore anymore. Let's drop the tax to 10%. So what happens to the price of your condo? Yeah, the bottom is, it's up to the government whether to keep the bottom in or out. Similarly, Hong Kong, which used to be a place where people loved to invest before, with now that the Chinese have taken over and are flexing their muscles more and more, trying to show forget about the world, they're just trying to show the honkies who's in charge in Hong Kong. It's affecting real estate prices and the demand from overseas customers. I think only the Chinese would be probably interested now in buying in Hong Kong. So similarly, Malaysia and Indonesia have their own challenges, which makes Thailand one of the most stable investment destinations. Of course, one has to exercise due caution and due diligence, which we can guide you in. But overall, things are really quite stable and safe over here in Thailand. So this brings me to the first of the projects. Actually, I told Amit I'm going to do one project, but I think just to give you a flavor of what is available, I would like to talk about these three projects. I focused on Pattaya. Pattaya as a destination is about an hour's drive from Bangkok. You're looking at 8-lane highways. Point to point from the airport to Pattaya is not more than 1.5 hours. So in 1.5 hours, you arrive at Suvarnabhumi, you take a taxi, and you are in Pattaya an hour and a half later. At the moment, as we speak, there is a conglomerate that has won the rights to build a high-speed train. It's a CP Group who are the largest, they are like the largest industrial conglomerate in Thailand. They're building a train that's linking the three airports. So you have Suvarnabhumi Airport, which 90% of the commercial flights arrive at. That'll be linking with Pattaya Airport, also called Utapao Airport. And that'll be linked with Don Mueang Airport, which is the second airport in Bangkok. So these three airports are being linked. So a distance of the airport to Pattaya by 2029 is going to take you 20 minutes. So 20 minutes is faster than it takes you to get into downtown Bangkok. So if you take a taxi from Suvarnabhumi and you need to get to Sukhumvit, that's going to take you 45 minutes with the traffic. And if you're lucky, on a holiday and let's say early hours of the morning, you might be able to get to the airport in half an hour. But if you think that 20 minutes, you're going to be in Pattaya, well, that's what's happening by 2029 in Pattaya. Now, this project that you see here, City Center Residences, is a project that I have been associated with since 2013. It was built by Israeli developer, Matrix Developments. There are 607 units in this condominium of studios and one bedrooms. The project was sold out in 2018. Now there are only resale units, but these resale units are basically fetching, the price tag is only 40 lakhs, which I think is a sweet point for the Indian market. So for 40 lakhs, you can have a home in Thailand. When you're not living in the condo, you can also rent it out for around 10,000 baht a month. 10,000 baht is about 24,000 rupees a month. Okay. Giving you a nice annual income, right? So this condominium complex is equipped. You can see the state-of-the-art health club right here with all the equipment. Underneath here is a sauna and gym. A sauna and steam rooms. It's separate for ladies and men. Okay, and there is a children's pool here at the back for children. This condominium complex is located in central Pattaya. So Pattaya is divided into South Pattaya, Central Pattaya, and North Pattaya. This complex is right in central Pattaya, and within 10 minutes, you can be at the beach, you can be at the go-kart track, you can be at a golf course. You're right in the center of everything. All right, so that's the first project I wanted to give you a glimpse of. This is a project which we call off-plan. It's called the Riviera Malibu. So like I was saying to you, you have apartments, you have mansions, you have condominiums, and I gave you the hierarchy of how those were different. So when I compare the city center residence in the previous slide with the Riviera Malibu, this is like a clear leg up. So the public areas in a Riviera are next level. This particular condominium is going to have 279 units. It's located in a very posh area called Pratumnak. Pratumnak is like Malabar Hill in Mumbai. It is a hill, and you have a royal palace, which is in the Pratumnak area. You do not see much nightlife in this area. It's more of a family area. There are a lot of Russians that like to live here, rich Russians. In fact, in this building, 279 units, the project opened about 6 months ago, and there are only 23 units left for sale. Only 23. I'll repeat that. 279 units opened 6 months ago, and only 23 units are left for sale. Yes, that's how fast Pattaya can move if the project is good. So there are a lot of projects. Which project to sell is something that we are good at picking. I myself had bought a project from Matrix developers called Vision, which I bought in 2016. Amazing price at that time, and one of the best projects at Pratumnak Hill, and it's right next door to this. So I know the location. You have Michelin star restaurants in the neighborhood. You have beaches. You have jogging tracks, nature reserves. It's basically everything that your family could wish for. But just in case you feel the need for a beer at one of those beer bars, and you need to disappear from the family for about an hour, it's exactly 6 minutes by bike down the hill, and you can be in one of those bars. So I find that Pratumnak is a fantastic location, which is a very happy compromise between family life and bachelor life. Okay, so this is the Riviera Malibu Pratumnak at Pattaya. The third project, which is really, really impressive, is at Walking Street. Now, I'm sure all of you all have heard of Walking Street in Pattaya. It needs no introduction. Some people tend to think that Pattaya is only Walking Street, which is not true. You have a lot of other areas in Pattaya, but I find that Indians, especially from North India, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Noida, Gurgaon, all they want to be is at Walking Street. Well, that's why I have suggested this project. Grand Soleil is, I think it's 40 stories, right in the heart of Walking Street, meaning the area is adjoining Walking Street. It's also a very upmarket project. So, you can be right in the heart of the nightlife, and yet you can be above it. in the Grand Soleil, Noble, this particular project. Now, just to tell you, I have sent the link of, not just these projects. We have at the moment contracted about 10 projects in Pattaya, each with their own flavor. And these are on a link that was shared with the WhatsApp group that Aditya created. We have one project in Bangkok at the moment listed on that group and one project in Phuket. So with this, I think I have completed my presentation. Market predictions, opportunities for growth, strategic recommendations. I think this I would rather give on a case-to-case basis based on individuals, shall I say, key result areas, or what they hope to get from the monies that they are investing. Okay, so basically, I would now like to open the floor up for questions and discussions.
So, Ashley, like the product you have mentioned, Riviera Malibu, right? So the second phase which is coming up that we are discussing about, right?
When you say second phase, it is a complex in itself. And Riviera as a company have put up several projects, including the Riviera Naklua, the Riviera Jomtien, Riviera Monaco, Riviera Ocean Drive, and now Riviera Malibu. So it's not second phase. It is one building with one building with 279 apartments.
Okay. So now floor is open. So when anyone have any question, please start asking.
So you want to say that each building, each floor is named by some name, or these 249 flats are some towers, and these towers are named under their names?
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
So Shubhrat bhai, that
I
tower
see.
name is Riviera Malibu, and that project
Okay.
we have 270 units that Esther has mentioned.
Okay, that particular tower has this
Yeah.
thing. So that is the only one gated committee with towers with different names, right?
Correct.
It's not different name. It's the same name. It is, two wings. It's not two towers. It's two wings of the same tower.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, Riviera projects are quite stunning. The word that I would use to describe Riviera projects is decadent. Decadent is what I would use. They are very, very posh, very impressive. It's like walking into a Leela hotel. That's the best way to describe it. A Leela hotel, yes.
What is the price of this balance 23 units you mentioned?
So that is actually up on that Google link. So depending on the unit, on the floor, on the area, the price varies. So the higher the floor, just like in India, the price goes up. I would say that if you were to ask me what is the average price in Riviera, it would be about 120,000, 110,000 a square meter. So just to let me qualify that so that I can give you some perspective on it. Today, the cheapest projects in Pattaya are about 100,000 a square meter. The most expensive projects in Pattaya go to 380,000 a square meter. So when I tell you that the price of Riviera is 110 to 120,000 a square meter, it is not the cheapest, but it is certainly at the value end.
I have one t-shirt.
Just wanted to know, say if someone is investing from India and say he brought at 110,000 per square meter, and definitely one is going to invest looking at the return on investment. So if I say next 5 years, whatever today I am investing, what would be the average appreciation into the property?
So see, Thailand is a bit of a strange market. When you invest, appreciation that you can get per year is the terminal value is not very large, but the rental values are good. So for example, your rentals will begin at about 6% per annum. So let's say you invest $100,000, okay? Every year, you should be looking to make a minimum of $6,000, and this could go up to $15,000. So from 6 to 15% is what you are looking at in terms of
Revenue.
yeah, dividends. And then when you sell it, you will probably make an appreciation of maybe 15 to 20%. That's it. So that is not very high. But you know, the game over here is basically rentals. But there is another hidden silver lining, which is that the Thai baht is very stable. So say, for example, you're sending the money, you're buying the dollars out of rupees, right? So the rupee today you bought. I can give you a real life example of what has happened with the Russians. You know, back in let's say 2010, one Thai baht was equal to one Russian ruble. And the Russians were one of the initial drivers of Pattaya. See, today, when you look at the skyline of Pattaya and you wonder why is it so impressive, we have to thank the Russians because they were the ones who initially thought that this destination was worth investing in, which created, you know, all these wonderful projects we see today. So the Russians invested massively. I mean, the builders could not build fast enough between 2010 and 2014. And every complex they built was 600 units, 800 units, 1,200 units. Okay, and as quickly as they built them, they got sold. And then in 2014, the Russians had a problem with their ruble because of the oil crisis. And one Thai baht could now buy you 2 Russian rubles. So now the Russians who had just bought condos in Pattaya had a problem paying the EMI. So what did they do? They put all their condos on the market. The entire Russian market at one time tried to exit. So this also should tell you how resilient the market, the Pattaya market was. It absorbed this and the Russians sold their condos. So let's say you bought the condo for 1 million baht. The Russians sold it for 800,000 baht. But when he bought it, that 1 million baht was equal to 1 million rubles. He sold it at 800,000 baht, which gave him 1.6 million rubles. He took that money back to Russia, making a 60% return on his investment. I believe that the same is true of India. See, today the rupee is at 83. So you're buying the dollar at 83. You put the money in a Thai property at, say, 1 million baht. Tomorrow, I know, you know, you may find this hard to believe, but I believe that the rupee will go to 100 to the dollar. Okay, so when 5 years later, you are transferring your money back to yourself in India, all right, you sell the property at 1.2 million baht. Okay, that 1.2 million baht, when you transfer it back into rupees, is going to give you a whopping return on your investment. So it's not only about the price of the condo here, it's also about the currencies, the underlying currencies that we are using to buy these assets. The Thai baht is very stable. The property market here is very stable. And in the meanwhile, while you were holding that asset, you're looking forward to a 6 to 15% return on the rentals, on the dollar value that you initially brought from India. All said and done, it's a very, very stable environment for real estate. Yes, next question.
So, can you quickly give the process of like buying? If we have a customer here, what is the process, like a quick overview of like process to buy? The
So there are 2 ways we can do it. If the customer wants to do it from India, see, I don't think anyone is going to buy real estate without looking at it first. Yes, but I do know of many nationalities who have during COVID, especially Russians and Chinese, who have bought real estate over here just by looking at the not just the publicity material, but actually getting drone shots, etc., of the properties. So that's one way of doing it, by remote, in which case we can facilitate. But I think it's more likely that since India and Thailand is so close and the flying time is just 4 hours, people will jump onto a flight. You may not be able to react fast enough. So you just need to send us a message saying, this is the customer, this is the name. Please have him shown around in Pattaya. So we will make sure that he is, in proper hands. We will register him with all the developers, because see, one of the biggest problems with not just Indians, but any customer, is that they will come through you to learn about the products, but then they will try and negotiate directly and go behind your back to the developers. So once we register the name and the email address and the telephone number with the developer, it doesn't matter how he buys the property or who he goes through, right? We are getting the commissions, right? But I don't think it needs to be difficult. See, at the moment, we are not getting the Indian market at all. Indians are coming here and buying properties, and they are doing it through Thai agents. Simply because no Indian company has decided that they want to facilitate their buying process. So yeah, give us the name, tell us he's coming, give us the flights, and we'll make sure that he is shown the properties. And I can tell you that we have some really good people to close the sales here. So the probability is that if we have a qualified customer, we will close the sale. I can almost guarantee that.
I was also asking about the technical process, like the transfer of money, like how is it going to be, like for people, for the new investors, like first time investors.
So there is basically, you can transfer this money through the RBI. So there are many ways you can do it. You can transfer the money directly into the account of the developer using the bank in India.